we have. Okay, perfect. All right, good evening. I'd like to welcome you all to the City Council Work Session, August 4th, 2025, call to order at 6:02. Madam Clerk, if you would please call the roll.
Mayor Pro Tem Messick. Present. Councilmember Don Dixon.
Present.
Councilmember Powell. Councilmember Miller.
Present.
Councilmember Lester.
Here.
Councilmember Alfred Dixon.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you so much, Madam Clerk. Council, before us, there's the agenda. Are there any additions or modifications to the published agenda? Clerk, do you have any, Madam Clerk? Can you go to the mic?
If we can remove letter D, under new business, council to consider approval of a partial fee waiver.
Okay. Was there anything else?
And that was it.
Council, do you have any additions or modifications to the published agenda?
Mayor,
Yes.
I'd like to remove item B on the presentation, the pedestrian hydrant.
Perfect. Anyone else from this side? Anyone else from this side? Any modifications to the agenda? Council, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda, removing item B up under presentation and item D up under new business.
I make a motion, Mayor, that we accept and adopt the agenda with the changes as stated.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposition? Thank you so much. Tonight is one of the nights I really enjoy. We get a chance to do it every year. See some beautiful new young faces in the city of Jonesboro. It's our Jonesboro Youth City Government swearing in ceremony. Our youth city government is up under the direction of Councilman Alfred Dixon and 2 or 3 volunteers. I hate to call names, but we're the volunteers of the advisors for our Jonesboro Youth City Government. If you all are here, please stand. Please stand. There you go. Cameron Dixon, Marisol, and Nancy. This is our 3rd year, Councilman Dixon, our 3rd year, and so we're excited to welcome these on board. We also have another member of our community, Judge Hill, here to swear them in that came down from her bench in Clayton County. We appreciate you here as well. Councilman Dixon, I'll let you have it from here.
Well, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Man, I appreciate that energy today. Today is super duper special. Like the mayor stated, this is our 3rd year swearing in the next generation of leaders, and I'm so thankful to have a room packed. The village is here, and we could not do it without you all. If you're a parent here in the audience today, may you please stand and be acknowledged. Thank you all for being here and being present in this monumentous moment. So I will welcome the 2nd JYCG Mayor, Ms. Daniela Avitia, to the front.
Councilman Dixon, let us.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hola, buenos días.
Hola.
My name is Daniela Vitia. I am a first-generation Mexican-American, so I'm proud to present my people and my city. When I first started the JYG, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm a little nervous. When I first started the JYCG, I didn't know much about politics. And that's the truth. Not a lot of students know that. And that's why we created the JYCG. So students or even children that are under the 16 or starting elementary, they can understand ahead of time because the world will catch up to you. That is true. And I've experienced that as well. So I'm here now. I started as a council, and now I'm a mayor, and I'm very proud to show my work. Recently, we had multiple events. I think that was such a success for us, and I hope you guys also think that way. This is my last year, so I'm officially out of the group, but I'm obviously gonna represent no matter what. I'm off to Clayton State, so that's such a win for me, guys. Thank you. I'm gonna be majoring in criminal justice, so anybody in criminal justice? Yes, I would love some pointers. I'm definitely open to any comments on that. I would love that, actually. I'm very excited for our new students to feel the adventure that I experienced when I first entered. It's such an amazing experience, honestly. You definitely grow. I remember I was so nervous my first time when I came up here, and now I'm just staring at you guys. A little nervous, but very excited. Lastly, I want to pass the baton to the new generation. They're definitely gonna uplift Jonesboro to the fullest. And I hope they agree. Thank you.
At this time, would the new members please come up to the front and line up this way for us?
You need us. When do we come down? Y'all can just squeeze all the way down here. Scoop, scoop, scoop. They're each going to speak, but let's give them a round of applause. I know it's kind of nervous. This isn't easy, so we appreciate you all. Councilman Dixon?
JYCG. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rylan Allen. Currently, I'm going to Mount Zion High, heading to the 9th grade, and what you just seen there is something I can contribute to JYCG. Spirit. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Miriam Diallo, and I attend Charles R. Drew High School, and I'm in the 10th grade. I'm passionate about making sure that everyone's voice is heard. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sydney Washington. I'm a 10th grader at Jonesboro High School, and I will be your new councilwoman. I'm passionate in political science, so I'm very excited to bring a new perspective to JYCG. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Madison Hall. I attend Martin Ellen Stillwell School of the Arts. I am in 9th grade. I am your director of events, and one thing I am passionate about is influence. And I would hope to put the JYCG on Instagram, bring more people, more sponsors, more money, so we can share this gift with other children in the community.
Thank you. We're about to go viral.
Hello. Good evening. My name is Evian Maldonado. I go to Mount Zion High. I am in 9th grade. One thing that I am very passionate about with JYCG, that I can put in work and I can be very determined.
Good evening. My name is Matthew Hall. I am a 9th grader at Stillwell, and something that I'm passionate about is serving others.
All right. Good evening. Okay, that was good evening. Good evening. All right, there we go. My name is Mason Wyatt. I am proudly going to Morrow High School. I'm a 9th grader. I will be serving as your city manager. One of the things that I will be focusing on is making sure that all young people are involved, making sure their voices are heard and they are being seen. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Cedric Lemons, and I attend Mundy's Mill High School, and I'm a junior. And I'm your director of community service, and something I bring to JYCG is accountability and responsibility.
Hi, my name is Miranda Gutierrez. I'm a 9th grader at Martha Stillwell School of the Arts, and I'm very passionate about bringing people together and getting what needs to be done, done.
Hello, my name is Jacqueline Alvarado. I'm a 9th grader at Cristo Rey Atlanta Jesuit High School, and I'm passionate about giving different points of views for the community.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Newlove. I am homeschooled through Pensacola Christian Academy, and I will be in 10th grade this year. One thing I am very passionate about is little children. One thing I hope to bring to this group is more events geared toward little children so that they can have some fun and a voice.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Esna, and I'm a senior at Jonesboro High School. As your councilwoman, I want to increase sustainability efforts in the community.
Good evening. My name is Soraya Robinson. I am a 9th grader in Morrow High School. One thing that I am passionate about is to make people open-minded and more empathetic towards each other, and to have more understanding towards each other so we can build a better community.
Well, greetings, Jonesboro and esteemed guests. Let's give a warm round of applause for these amazing scholars. Today, we make history, and today, we turn the page. Today, I not only serve as the mayor of Jonesboro Youth City Government, I am proud to serve with passion, dignity, and respect, all right? A few things about me is I am a people person. Can y'all say it with me? People person. Okay. So with that being said, you will see a lot coming from the JYCG. A beautiful smile from me as always, and you will see me engaging with you all, and I hope to see you more at our meetings, at our events, and more involved with the youth here in Jonesboro. Because if you don't know, you will know now that we are the next leaders of America.
Greetings, everyone. My name was Isaac Hathaway. I was the previous mayor pro tem for the Jonesboro Youth City Government, and I'd like to welcome Judge Keith Hill. Keisha Wright Hill.
Can I say something before Isaac goes down? Isaac is also a graduating senior, and in about a week or two will be headed to Alabama State. Is that Albany State? Albany State. Let me get it right.
Good evening. I'm Chief Magistrate Judge Keisha Wright Hill, and it's a pleasure to serve as your Chief Judge. And I'm here to give the oath today, but before I do that, first of all, let's just give a round of applause for all these scholars who once again. I'm very impressed at how eloquently they spoke, because public speaking is something that you have to continue to practice. So any time you get an opportunity to speak in front of a crowd, whether it's at church, your school, in the community, make sure you do that. I also like that I heard a lot about service and passion, and so continue to have that fire in you and to work through that. Last but not least, before I give the oath, let me say this. Don't forget to come back to your community. I have lived in Clayton County for 35 years. And I'm a proud graduate of Clayton County Public Schools. I attended Lovejoy High School. And so wherever God sees for you to go, whether it's private school, public school, state, university, in-state or out-of-state, that's fine. Go your own path, but don't forget to come back home and bring back all that knowledge and that experience and that training and make the place that you grew up in a better place, okay? So with that being said, and also let me say this, when I give this oath, I want you to think about, don't just recite the words that I'm saying. Think about what the words mean. I'll take my time to say it because I want you to really take in what it is that you are giving your oath to, okay? So if everyone will raise their right hand. And repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Raymond Michael,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully serve
that I will faithfully serve
the city of Jonesboro
the city of Jonesboro
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability,
That I will uphold
that I will uphold
the values of integrity,
the values of integrity,
responsibility,
responsibility,
and service.
and service,
And that I will work to empower
and that I will work to empower
my fellow citizens
my fellow citizens
and promote the well-being
and promote the well-being
of my community.
of my community.
I pledge to lead with honor
I pledge to lead with honor
and strive to make Jonesboro
and strive to make Jonesboro
a better place for all.
a better place for all.
Congratulations.
Yeah, just get it. If everybody can just come together, we'll get a good group picture.
And council, if you all want, I think if you all go back behind. I think that would be good. So if you all, some of y'all are over on this side.
Come down, come down. Some of y'all in the front, some of y'all in the front, come.
We're just gonna snap some quick shots, and then parents, y'all definitely have an opportunity to hop back, okay?
You can't miss no more.
All right, guys, here we go. Ready? Big Jonesboro smile. 1, 2, 3. All right, these parents want to get at these kids.
Take another one that's we're gonna say Jonesboro University or JYCG. All right, ready?
1, 2, 3.
JYCG.
Thank you all.
I just wanted to give just a single closing remark. Just once again, congratulate all of the new JYCG members and encourage them to embrace their role as young leaders that are going to be leading the community. Thank you.
Round of applause. I'm excited. Jay, I'm gonna have a whole cheer. Y'all know it don't take much from me. I have a PowerPoint presentation. Next on the agenda is the mayor's budget presentation. So as you all know, we posted our millage rate, and so earlier today we had a budget meeting with council and quite a few members of our community. Am I on? Quite a few members of our community. And I did a presentation. One of the things I'm really big about as mayor is transparency in education and informing the public. And what I realized is that many of us, myself included before I became elected official, really didn't understand how budgets work for governments, as well as millage rate. So if you all just appease the teacher in me for a little while, short while, I'm gonna go through some slides. Are they up? All right, so let's talk about what is a millage rate. A millage rate equals basically how we tax the property. A millage rate is equal to $1 for every $1,000 that a house is worth. So I gave some simple math. If a house is worth $1,000 and our mill rate is 1, how much would we collect in taxes? $1. So, oh, I can walk around, okay, good, thank you. So the millage rate is important. Our current millage rate is 8.5. So that means for every $1,000 that a house is valued, you can tax 8.5. So that's different than 1 mil. State law puts a lot of restrictions on how we can increase millage rate, how we have to advertise it. So this past week, we did what state law requires us to do. And that's posted a predicted millage rate. And we did one in the amount of 15 mil. If you go to the next one, Shelby, skip one. Skip one. And so this is the one from last year, exact same wording, but I'm going to use this as an example. Because I know when citizens look at, gosh, we're increasing by 100+%. We're increasing to 15 mil. That's a lot. I'm a homeowner in the city, and that can be frightening to me. The caveat is that once we post the millage rate, we can't go over. Once we post the millage rate, if we post it at 35, that means we can approve a millage rate up to 35. If I post a millage rate for 5, that means I can only go up to 5. So this year we posted a millage rate for 15. And a lot of people got in a tizzy, rightfully so. But I want to remind you of what happened in 2024. We posted a rate of 14. It was a 96% increase. And in this notice of property tax increase that we're required to do every year, we have to tell you some key things. What percentage increase it will be over the current year. We also have to tell you that it'll result in what the final amount is. And then we have to give you an example. We posted this last year on November 4th. This year we posted something very similar with the appropriate calculations, but with a 15 mil rate. JCW, y'all help me, JCG, y'all help me with this. If we posted 15 mil, can we go over 15 mil? Does it mean that we have to have 15 mil? No, it just means I have to post it, I can't go above it. All right, let's go to the next, click the next one. Last year we posted 14, but we only approved 8.5. This year we posted 15. I'm not quite sure what we're going to approve. We only post enough to give us a cushion because we have to devise a budget. A good government looks at what they need for next year to run the government and only raises their mill rate to cover that. All right, let's go to the next one. Every year the state requires that I give you a 5-year history of tax. I can't choose to give you 3, I can't choose to give you 2. The minimum I have to give you is 5. So this is last year, just to show you that we're doing it correctly. Last year when we posted that with the previous notice, if you go to the second one, click it for me. When we gave you the 5-year levy, it said 4.14 because that's what we advertised. Click it again for me. This is what we advertised this year. Click it one more time. And what does it say? 8.5. It advertises what we advertised, but the following year when we're into the upcoming year, then we have to make it say what we actually agreed upon. If you look at that last column, click Shelby. Great. We're advertising 15. Does that mean we're going to pick 15? That means we just can't go above it. All right, let's go to the next one. This is a sample. You see a big old sample. Don't nobody screenshot this and say this is the cities of Jonesboro. But what you have is a list of revenue. That's how we get money. We get it from tickets. We get it from some franchise fees. But the large amount comes from property tax. And that's one of the variabilities that we as an elected body can control. I can't tell my good old chief here, go out there and get me $200,000 for tickets. He'd be really pissed at me because I don't have that type of chief. So we never know. We can estimate what comes in. Franchise fees are set. Georgia Power is going to pay me Georgia Power for that particular franchise. As a matter of fact, that's state regulated, so they can only give me a certain percentage. What I can increase is pretty much the property tax, and that's increased through millage rate, or increase or decrease. Shall we go ahead? We got that next one. All right. Now I want to frame this, and this is me being transparent. And I feel like it's important for you all to know. The date on this is August 15, 2019. We had a mid-year retreat. I wasn't on council. Councilman Powell was on council. Councilman Lester was on council. Councilman Dixon was on council. He had just resigned that day. Did you come to the meeting?
No,
Not sure.
I was outside.
Okay. So there was an elected body at this particular time. We had several meetings. And in that meeting, if you notice, at 11 o'clock, they had a discussion regarding capital projects' financial impact from Ed Wall, which is our financial advisor. We actually pay somebody that's a genius at this, and he comes and he advises us on the best ways to make some key financial decisions. So on this day in 2019, they sat with the governing body, and they talked about, at that time, Jonesboro, this building right here was not erected. We hadn't even dug a shovel in the ground. It was a vision. And so, but they were talking about how we're going to finance this vision. That's what responsible elected officials do. We want to build something, now how are we going to pay for it? So at 11:30 for about an hour they talked about it, and I wasn't there, but I spoke with Ed Wise this morning, and Ed Wise spoke to our entire elected body, and he shared with us what happened in that August 15th meeting. His recollection is pretty good. He said, we decided as an elected body that we would move forward with building JCC, and that incrementally they would be requiring, a tax millage rate increase would have to occur so that we can finance the debt service on this building. What does that mean? It's kind of like similar to a mortgage. We'll build a building, we got some money we'll put down from our coffers, but also we'll get some bonds, which are layman's term loans, and we'll pay the debt service back incrementally each year. Fortunately, we get SPLOST, and we had SPLOST for 6 years, and we said, we'll take SPLOST, that's the special purpose local option sales tax, yeah. And so we got that. We'll be voting on that. If you all are voters on November 16th, you live in Clayton County, November 4th, and you live in Clayton County, you'll be voting on that SPLOST again. All right, so let's go to the next one. So I'm gonna go in a little bit, but if you see on 2023, let's just take that top row. Those first 3 items is the debt service that we created. That's the debt that the governing body created to build Lee Street Park. How many of y'all have been to Nouveau? To renovate Nouveau and to build JCC. So those are the 3 areas that you see going down. City of Jonesboro project, Lee Street, City Center project here, and Broad Street, which is Nouveau, that smaller amphitheater. And you see principal. That's the total of debt we created. And then we have to pay the interest, and so then you end up with a total debt service of about $1.5 million a year. If you slide all the way down in 2037, you'll see that we have a debt payment for that year of $7 million. We'll probably refinance it by then, but every year we're responsible for 1.5. Since 2023 until 2028, we've been fortunate enough that we get SPLOST funding, about $897,000. We subtract that $897,000 from the debt service, and then there's a surplus or a deficit. And that's when we have to come up with something. Let's talk a little about when this building was built. It was built prior to a pandemic. When we decided to build this building, we did not know we'd have a pandemic. We didn't know that we were going to have terrorists in place. A lot of things happened. While we were building the building, we actually had to go into our savings and pull out about $3 million to help offset an increase in building the building. So what I'm faced with this year is a plan that was devised in 2019 that said that we would incrementally increase our millage rate to cover this building that our elected body agreed to build. I wasn't on that elected body, but I inherited this beautiful building along with the debt. And so me and this current elected body have to make decisions so that the city can continue to run financially. The decisions that I make is not about paying this building. I make decisions about how we would pay our staff. One of the first things I did was move our minimum wage from 15 to 19. I asked for 22, we got 19. We were pretty happy with that. Y'all applaud the council for that. That was pretty good. When I consider budget, I have to consider whether my staff gets a cost of living increase. The eggs that you all pay so much for, they got to pay the same amount for. I have to determine whether I want to do capital improvements. We didn't have a capital improvement plan. What that means is that as a city, you set for 5 or 10 years, every year we're going to take this amount of money to fix things so that nothing gets behind. If you notice, Lee Street Park has a fence around our playground because we did not invest in the capital debt that was needed to fix the playground. Now it's unsafe. We're having to close it until we can fix it. We got 2 more parks. So there's so many things that go in. Police want some new cars. I got bald tires on Public Works. It's like a number of things. So Right now, our millage rate should be at 12.5, I'm just being honest with you. When I first got into council, we rolled it back from the current to 7.5. Remember, we had a plan to move it forward incrementally, but council decided to roll it back. So now I'm faced with the decision of, our charter requires that our budget includes debt service. So first and foremost, I gotta have a budget that meets debt service. And if we don't increase the millage to give me extra money, then I start making tough choices. Cutting staff, not giving staff cost of living raises, not purchasing trucks and replenishing a public works fleet that some of the vehicles in there are 20 to 23 years old, not fixing parks that my kids and your kids go to. So I know millage rate gets a bad rap out there, and we're talking about, we're going to increase millage rate. I feel like sometimes we need to understand why. And we need to understand that a plan was put in place. In 2019, the current council, they made a good decision. They built a building, used some of the money from our savings, and said, we're going to create a plan to continue to pay this debt service down, and we're going to do it incrementally, 0.5, 1, but now we should be at 12.5, and we're at 8.5. So if it appears to, so I'm not saying, council might decide we're going to keep the millage at 8.5. But no, if we keep the millage at 8.5, and you see that published as the final one, that I made a decision to cut back on staff. I made a decision not to give them a cost of living raise. I did not make a decision for our cars to go around continuously on bald tires, because we're going to find that money, because nobody will be unsafe around here. We will probably close more parks, because I cannot have you all in parks that are not safe. And so that's where we are. Can we go down to the next one? So this is just a closer look at the debt service across time. We're on the year 2026, which means that our difference is about $617,000. Now we got about $6 million in savings. Best practices in municipal government is that you have half of your budget kept in savings. Our budget is roughly about $9 million. That means I want to keep 4.5. I can go pull 1.5 out, but it's going to be a juggle, and we can agree to do that. So I just wanted to share that information with you. Council, is there anything I said that wasn't accurate that y'all want to clear up for me? All right, so everything I just said was true and accurate. Any questions? Because I feel like this is important. I've been on Facebook way too long the last couple of weeks trying to fight and defend that we're just going to do it like this. Are there any questions? So yes. So right now we opted in, so that's going to save some hours, so we won't be able to increase on that. Right now we don't, and that might be an option for us to consider. Today was our first budget meeting when we were just talking through where we could get. We have a huge rental population. Some of us own homes, but we have a huge rental population. I can't give you the exact percentage, but that's definitely something that we can consider. But again, that still overall impacts the revenue that comes in. Good question. Yes, sir?
How many more years will the debt need to be serviced on this building?
If you look here, it goes all the way to 2000.
Sorry, I'm blind.
No, that's fine. I'm sorry. It goes to 2036, and at that point, we'll have $7.2 million remaining to pay. It won't be a balloon. We'll go in and we'll refinance it across that. The difference is SPLOST is only promised to us to 2027. And if in November the vote doesn't pass or have a continued SPLOST, then we're responsible for 1.5, 1.5, 1.5 every year. We don't even have the cushion of SPLOST. Anybody else? I hope that was helpful. If you come to our 3 budget meetings, you're going to get the same presentation over and over again. I don't feel like I can tell you all enough exactly how we got to this point. And I will defend any decision that we make in regard to millage rate, but just wanted to let you all know the different factors that we have. All right, thank you all so much. Madam Clerk, next on the agenda. Was there anyone else that needed to add to public comment? I have 2 here. At this time, I have True Rider Motorcycle Club. True Rider, I'm not going to read this, everybody. We're just going to be nice when we come, and please state your name and address, speak clearly into the microphone, and speakers, you all should be courteous, respectful, and not make any disparaging remarks or abusive language when addressing the mayor and council. How are you all today? Good.
Good evening, Mayor, esteemed council members. My name is Cedric Mack. I'm Edward Fondell, and I reside at 9779 Raven Way, Jonesboro, Georgia. I stand before you as a proud member of True Riders MC. I appreciate the opportunity to address you tonight regarding a very important issue to our club, and we believe that it's beneficial to the community of Jonesboro in whole. We are here today to request your support and approval for True Riders MC to have a designated place to meet within the city of Jonesboro. We understand concerns concerning unfortunate incident involving an alleged motorcycle gang. First and foremost, I want to express my deepest sympathy to anyone affected by the isolated event. However, I'm here to clarify that True Riders MC is not affiliated in any way with that incident or any gang-related activity. We are a community-focused, family-oriented motorcycle club. Our core values are centered around brotherhood, community service, and promoting a positive image of bikers in the society. Over the years, True Riders have organized charity rides, back-to-school events, and neighborhood cleanups. Our members are hardworking individuals, mothers, fathers, veterans, business owners, law enforcement officers. We understand the responsibility that comes with wearing our patch and representing not just our club, but also the city we are part of. That's why we are committed to working hand in hand with city officials and law enforcement to maintain a safe, respectful, and positive environment wherever we gather. The place we're requesting is not just a clubhouse, it's a place where we can organize charity events, mentor local youth, and build strong ties within the community. A place where we can continue doing business and good work that align with the value of this great city. We're not asking for special treatment, we're asking for opportunity to be part of the solution and not judged by the action of others. Mayor, council members, we ask for your trust, your understanding, and your support. Give us the opportunity to prove that motorcycle clubs like True Riders are an asset, not a liability to this city. Thank you for the opportunity and time. And we are open to any questions regarding our intentions moving forward in your city.
And you all aren't on this agenda. Do they have an application here?
No, we're not.
Not yet?
We previously were, a couple of years ago, we presented ourselves before the board and you, Madam Mayor, and we was approved. We've done everything we can do possible for the community. I work for the government myself, law enforcement, and we're just trying to see if we can move to the location where we're at right now.
Okay, so you all were approved at a previous, give me the previous location address.
Previous location address, we have to get that for you.
All right, current address?
It's 9531 South Main.
So you all haven't put in the application for that one?
No.
Okay, but the previous one for the previous address was
approved.
South Main. But you all, do anybody remember where it was? Was it on North Main?
It was on North Main.
Okay, that's what I remember. Okay, thank you so much. I think North Main, like right down from on the same side as the fire station. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Robin Rawls.
I keep my word.
You sure do.
I told you I would come.
Thank you.
And I very much appreciate what you just explained about the 15%. Thank you. But I am very concerned about the raise. I know you're concerned about your people and your staff, but we also need to be concerned about taxpayers like myself who are seniors on a fixed income, and 15%, and I understand you're saying it probably won't go there, and that makes me feel a whole lot better.
Thank you.
But a major increase will hurt us, and I'm trying very hard right now I'm renovating a house here in Jonesboro, and I'm trying very hard to make it a place that everybody will be proud of. It's a historic home. It's been here forever. And the price that it's going to be valued at when I finish, 15% would kill me. It would kill me. And I'm sure that there are other people with other value homes that it's going to be just as hard for. So I would like for the council to consider not only this building and the parks and the staff, but those of us who want to stay in the county, I want to stay in the city. I'm leaving Lake Spivey to come here. And thought I was leaving big taxes behind, quite frankly. I thought I was going to be doing a whole lot better if I came to the city. So all I wanted to do tonight, one, I will thank you for the presentation, and two, please consider those of us who can't really afford a major increase. Okay?
Thank you, Ms. Rawl. I appreciate you coming too.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I told you I'd come.
You sure did. It's my Facebook friend. Anybody else for public comment? Yeah, we are now. We didn't start off that way, but that tells you. I appreciate you, Ms. Rawl. Anyone else for public comment? I'll now consider public comment closed. Madam Clerk, at this time, we don't have any public hearings.
No.
And we will move to old business.
Old business, letter A, council to discuss FY26 budget.
All right, council, we had a little budget discussion earlier. Is there anything that you all want to discuss? If we do a millage rate, it needs to be based on our needs of our budget. And so that's why I'm encouraging council to have a conversation now about the current budget. My recommendation that I've asked all current staff is that we currently roll over all expenditures from this year and not ask for anything different. Last year, we did some major cuts for the department to recoup from a year where we rolled back the millage rate. So when we moved up, we were really just at net zero. So we did some staff cuts. We didn't do a huge raise. We did a compensation study, and I had hoped that we would be able to at least move toward those salaries in the compensation study. It doesn't look like we'll be able to do that. So I've just built a budget, which would require us to have about an 11 meal rate. So council, I would open up the floor for discussion on some direction in regard to how you all would like to proceed in regard to the budget. Councilman Dixon, yes.
It's currently at 8.5 for the purpose of working out the agenda.
I'm sorry,
see
Councilman Dixon.
What is it at?
We
Volume.
have complaints.
Thank you.
So much.
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
We've had to work out at the 8.5 because I've had phone calls and everything also concerning the values of the houses that are going up tremendously because we don't give the value of the houses. That comes from the county. So when you have a value of your house 2023 at say 100,000, and then in 2024 you get your tax bill and it says, gee, it's worth 180,000. That's a big jump, and that has happened more than one time. So this is what you are expected to pay, not only the city tax but the county tax, because the county went up also. So right now, we are at 8.5. Mayor, I will go up to 9 to see if we can work something out to try and keep the budget where we need it and to help the senior citizens of the city pay the minimum amount of taxes that they can.
Thank you, Councilman Dixon. Anyone else? And I also have our interim finance consultant with us to kind of speak on the budget. I had her to create a budget, give or take some numbers, like 100,000 here or there fluctuating, and she built a budget on 11. And based on the budget on 11, that would cover our debt service. That was the elimination of about, how many I say, 12 positions? That was the elimination of 12 positions. That was a 2% cost of living raise and $500,000 in contingency. From that $500,000 in contingency, we would remove the deficit amount, which was roughly like $200,000, which would leave us in $300,000. The increase that I'm asking for would help with capital expenses. I have a list that I had prepared from our Public Works Department in regard to the vehicles, key vehicles that we use for service. Right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 vehicles out of service. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we have 7 vehicles that we operate on a day-to-day basis that range from 17 years old to 32 years old. I have a requirement that no staff in Public Works or any staff will operate a car without AC if the temperature is over 90 degrees. If there's a heat advisory, I immediately call Marcus, and they're not allowed to operate those vehicles. We've had to have every vehicle every year their AC repaired. One of the key services that we offer our residents is leaf and limb pickup. Y'all familiar with that? So if you drive through the city, you'll see a lot of leaf and limb piles still there. That's because our chipper truck is out of service. So what is happening is our gentlemen are having to go by each house, load up all of the leaf and limbs, put it in the truck, take it over to Public Works, unload it off the truck, get the backhoe, which the backhoe is now out of service as well. And so you lose time. Whereas if we had a chipper truck, 1 or 2 people can man the chipper truck and go out through the city. So a lot of times the increase in millage is because we want to maintain a quality of service. We were able to offer that service 5 or 6, 7 years ago because all the vehicles were working. But our chipper truck, is this right? 1993 is the year of the chipper truck? So we got a chipper truck. We're not even going to invest in that anymore. How much does a chipper truck cost?
Roughly, brand new, I say about $150,000.
So you remember we said we created a budget with 11 mil that had $500,000 in reserve. Take away the $200,000 that we have to use for debt service. Take 150 of that to buy this chipper, which I would think anyone that lives in the neighborhood would want a chipper truck. I personally do. And that leaves us with $150,000 in, as we would say, incidentals. So we also have 2 major parks, Massengale and Battleground, that has not had any capital improvements probably, which I estimate 10 years. 10 to 20 years. I have pictures of the bathroom, but I'm almost embarrassed to put them up because y'all probably call the health department. I have to close that down too. But a tree fell on the building, so it's a hole, and that park is used. I'm asking for improvements on things that are readily used by our citizens and by others. So I appreciate you, Councilman Dixon, recommending a 9 mil rate. But I'm not sure how much that's going to help us. Before we go any further, Karen, do you mind coming down? So remember we said we build a budget based on what we think we're going to get in revenue. And so I requested that she build a budget of 11. And so Karen's an expert over 30 years in municipal finance, so she can break this down a little bit better for me.
All right, Mayor, Council. After the meeting this morning, I went back and did some numbers within the budget. So of course, you asked about 11 mil, but I took it back down to 8.5 mil. And just at 8.5 mil, if you just leave it there, there's nothing in contingency. That's not funding those 14 positions that were put on hold. So that's just a basic budget with just a 2% increase for staff. Now, if you go up to, say, 9 mil, because you have to have the debt in there, that's only going to give you about an extra $112,000 extra in the budget. 9.5 mil will give you approximately $224,000 extra dollars, and 10 mils will give you an extra $336,000 to work with. Of course, the 11 mil, leaving everything the same, will give you an extra $560,000 to work with, so that would get you, as you were talking about the bucket trucks, and or either go back in and fund some of those 14 positions that are actually put on hold. But leaving it at 8.5, basically, like I said, there's no contingency, so if something was to happen, you basically got to go into your emergency fund, which, like you said, was $6 million, but most of the time that's for capital projects, which an emergency could be a capital project, but you do want to, with your capital projects, you want to create a 5-year capital plan so that you're not having to go into your reserves, because your reserves are supposed to be for true emergencies, like, let's just say a road was to wash out or something of that nature, or something major that you need to do where you're not getting any federal or state assistance. So you gotta rely on your own dollars to get it done.
If we remained at 8.5 with no contingency, that does cover the debt, though.
That covers the debt, correct.
Okay. And again, those are estimates, so we can keep it at 8.5, but we won't get a chipper truck, or we won't replace any of these old, like we got 2 that is 27 years old. The water truck, that's really crucial, because y'all, you know, we wanted flowers downtown, so we got flowers downtown, but the water truck's not working, so we can't water the flowers, so we extend our manpower by manually watering the flowers. They tend to like flowers downtown. Councilwoman Miller?
Just a few things about where we are with the budget, and I appreciate you, Miss Karen. I'm sorry, I can't remember the last name at the time because I'm a little frazzled by the discussions we've been having all day. A few things that I think is important for everyone to understand. First of all, I'm a big person on integrity, and when you come up with a plan, if you commit to something, I believe that you're supposed to live that out, right? And we came up with a plan, and I say we because I'm currently part of the governing body. I was not a part of the body when that plan came up, but we said we were going to increase by 0.5, right? Incrementally every year. And so anything lower than 10 just means we never did what we were supposed to do. Because if we would have increased like we were supposed to, then we would at least be at 10 right now, right? Additionally, the 11% that we were discussing earlier, we kind of just glide by the fact that it cuts 14 positions. We don't talk about what those positions are, right? And so we're cutting police, we're cutting code enforcement, we're cutting public works. And so when I think about the public, I love our residents. My mother is an older woman, she would be very upset that I said that has her fair share of challenges and a fixed income. We have been living on a fixed income for a while regarding her budget. But to think that she might be to call the police and they're not able to come as fast as they may need to, right? My mother has health challenges, right? She has a slew of things where we need those services. And it's not just my mother, it's the residents. You all deserve services. You're paying taxes, right? So to say, hey guys, we couldn't send the cops over. They were too busy handling an accident over here, and they were busy handling this over here, and they didn't get to you. I wouldn't be able to look you in the face and say that because of the budget, right? Or, oh my gosh, I have residents come to me and say, this house is terrible over here. We don't have code enforcement officer to find them, to tell them they need to fix it, to hold them accountable. And so where we live will decline if we don't keep up with, one, the plan that we said we were going to keep up with, and two, everything in the world is increasing. And I know we all feel it, but why should we have to put ourselves and our families at risk? Kids can't play in the park because they might hurt themselves, right? Or kids don't have anywhere to go, anything to do. I was an educator. Idle hands are not things that we want for our children, right? But they don't have that because we can't keep up with what we have. We have parks that are rented out with a hole in the roof. What if a baby's in the bathroom using that bathroom and something comes through the roof, right? Because we still rent the park. And so we have to balance, and we have to I think a compromise is when nobody wins. Right? Everybody moves, but nobody wins. And that's what we're gonna have to do. And so please know that we are thinking of you, but we're also thinking of you by saying we don't wanna cut police. We don't wanna keep having issues with sanitation coming on time and not coming because our truck is down and we don't have somebody there. So I just want everyone to be mindful when we're having these discussions that no matter what side of the coin the council is on, we're thinking of you, but it's important to make sure that you all still have the quality of life and services that you have been expecting and that you deserve.
Thank you, Councilman Miller. Any other council members to my left? To my right? All right, so y'all, this is a budget discussion, and this is where we get direction. Because what can happen is they can approve a budget, I mean, they can approve a millage rate of 8.5, and then we'll be forced to devise a budget based on that revenue with no input. And no more discussion? Okay, well, I add some more. I asked Mr. Hurd, from our Director of Public Works, some of the impact of not having critical information. He provided a great deal of feedback. One, delayed services, routine maintenance, and emergency response takes longer. Increased costs, outsourcing or renting equipment becomes more expensive with inflation. Safety risk. Staff may resort to using inappropriate tools to complete tasks. Staff using intense manual labor resulting in employee burnout and injuries, increasing workers' compensation and claims and frequent employee call-ins. Reputation damage. Citizens may lose trust due to visible and poor infrastructure upkeep. I also want to recognize that in the city of Jonesboro, and other cities may not do this, but we recognize our public works as first responders. In 2023, thank you, Marcus, for this, President George Bush issued a presidential policy directive officially recognizing public workers as first responders. In 2016, in Mississippi, they actually have a House Bill 664 which recognizes public works professionals as first responders. So we recognize our public works as first responders, not just our police officers. When there were flooding, we call Chief Cato, we also call Mr. Hurd. Our police officers come in and our public works officers come in as well. They are not exempt. When we have freeze warnings, some of them stayed over. So we treat them up under my leadership as first responders, and as with any first responders, they deserve the appropriate amount of equipment to do their job, and so that's what I am committed to. So again, if we stay at 8.5 or even go up to 9 meal rate will give us $112,000. That's not enough for any capital improvements. Nothing. I wouldn't even touch it, just because in case anything happens. So for example, let me tell you what we use contingency for. Our clock here was wrong for about 2 years. And boy, I didn't realize how much accurate time matters to citizens. We've spent $12,000 this year fixing a clock. We're going to spend $100,000 fixing the park. Marcus is a certified playground inspector, and so that's why it's closed. We need replacement of fleet vehicles. Fortunately, we received, and we haven't made the official announcement, but our city, from Congressman David Scott, received two of the 15 community grants. So we're really excited about that, $5 million. So some of this I don't even have to ask for the police department, because we were able to secure a grant, a little over $1 million, that we hope will get us 4 police cars, outfit all of our officers for vests. Am I saying it right, Chief? Not vests, cameras, body cams, and car cams. Those are things that we wouldn't want our officers out serving or patrolling without that. But that's something that we don't have to get for our budget. Whenever you get a grant from any of the congressional funding, and we in the city, let me just say this, I'm going to toot my own horn, as well as my key staff members, Shelby Bentley, Chief Cato, and everyone else that helped. The city has never received any federal funding for any other representatives or senators. And in 1 year, we've received $5 million. Out of 15, we're the only city that got 2 grants. So we got $3 million for sidewalk pedestrian improvement. So that's $3 million I don't have to ask for in a long-term capital improvement plan, because we have that, which leaves us with one other department that we have to fix, and that's Public Works. Public Works also, we had to move them from their old building. Several conditions were identified. We moved them in March of 2024. Several conditions were identified that rendered the building to be unfit for occupancy, including but not limited to significant damage compromising the safety of the building, non-functional or unsafe electrical and plumbing systems. We had 11 men there sharing one toilet that was often backed up. Mold, pest infestation, leaking water, and unsanitary conditions, lack of adequate air conditioning and clean water. Fortunately, we were able to use the $500,000 left in our ARPA funding to renovate the old Public Works building. But then we also, again, that's a capital improvement that we had to do. So again, just so being completely transparent, 8.5 gets us nothing in the hole. We make all our bills, we cut 14 positions, 4 police officers, economic developer, my executive assistant, 3 to 4 people from Public Works, and our code enforcement officer. All of those are key positions. And I put my position first on the block, which was the executive assistant that I use. If we go up for 112,000 to 9, that gives us 112,000. I can choose to maybe get 1 police officer back. Maybe, because it's not just the salary, it's the salary plus benefits and all the taxes. So 112,000 probably would refund 1.5 staff, and then there's no chipper truck. And I'm harping on the chipper truck because if you see my emails and see all the complaints I get, people want their leaves and limbs picked up. They pay and they deserve to have them picked up. But my staff does not deserve to pick them up by hand and put them on the back of a pickup truck and go from house to house. That will not happen. So just be patient with us a little bit longer, and we'll try to get them leaf and limbs picked up. Otherwise, they're going to stay there and decay. Y'all can use them for, what do y'all call them when y'all reaper? Mulch? Compost. So that's where we are, and those are the decisions. So, Council, I would ask that you just engage us a little bit more, a little longer to give us some insight. Are y'all okay? Am I hearing you all say y'all are okay cutting those positions? Is that what the agreement is? Okay. Are y'all got, so if y'all don't want to cut the positions, then can you all give us some advice on where we can go? Karen's here and she has the budget open. So if you all don't want to cut 14 positions, what do y'all want to do?
Mayor, I think we ought to go through the budget first to see what we can cut before we start worrying about letting people go and everything.
We provided the budget for you all last week and asked that you all came to the meeting this morning and tell us which one, and you all didn't. So we can go through and cut that, but I guess what I'm saying is we did the initial cut for you, and the initial cut got us at 8.5. The only thing that you can cut really is capital improvements. We did say there's about $100,000, group policy. We're having a meeting with the health insurance people on Monday to see where that goes up. But again, give us, so the budget, by virtue of what the statute says, one of my powers and duties as a mayor, as spelled out in section 2.27, is to prepare and submit to the council a recommended operating budget. And I have done just that, one based on 11 mil, and recommended capital budget. And that is the $500,000 I'm asking. So it's my job to work with the staff to prepare and submit, and I've provided that for you all. So it's your job to tell me from that what y'all want to change. So based on the budget that I submitted pursuant to our current charter, what changes would y'all like to see added?
If I may. Like I said earlier, I feel the least we need to do is what was agreed upon, and so I'm not comfortable doing anything less than 10 because that's what we agreed upon, and it didn't happen. Not only didn't it happen, we actually rolled it back a couple of times, which got us in this situation. And I think if we continue to stay in this situation, it's eventually, whether it's this year, next year, or the year after, it's going to be difficult it's going to be a difficult ask for everyone. It's just going to get more difficult the longer we wait, right? And so I'm definitely okay with the 11, and I would say to go into our reserves, and that makes me uncomfortable as well, but to go into our reserves so that we don't overburden our residents, but ensure that we keep this appropriate staff we need to keep our services for our residents. And so I would want us to keep the police officers and code enforcement. And so if we need to get those salaries out of the reserve for this year until we can figure it out next year. So I would say I'm fine with 11 and then getting the rest of the money out of the reserves and knowing that we will still have to incrementally go up next year, even if it's just by 0.5, because that's what we said we were gonna do.
We had a meeting earlier, but it wasn't like on the record or something. And so, Chief, I told y'all to be prepared. Chief, you want to come forward and Come on. I brought this back up on the screen so you all can look. Remember now, in 2000, we only have SPLOST to 2026. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, to 2027. Yeah, go to the next one. And the reason why I say that, because there's no guarantee that we're going to continue to get this. So let's just say they don't vote for SPLOST. In 2027, it's going to be a huge jump in millage rate because the state, our charter in section 6.25, city action by city council and budget, the budget as finally amended and adopted must provide for all expenditures required by law or by the provisions of this charter and all debt service requirement. So in 2007, there you go, in 2027, if we don't get SPLOST, and I'm telling you the way the economy is going, SPLOST might not be a given this year, then that means we got to come up with $1.5 million. So although we're going to hold tight and just like, at some point it's going to hit us. And then that year you're going to have to go from 8, 9, 10 to 15 or 16. Because our charter says that we have to make, and I'm telling you, we're as skeleton staff as we can. Chief, this is our police chief. Chief has been working with us. He's also been working with us on the grant. Chief has asked that his positions, as well as some of the other key staff, be funded, and he can probably tell you a little bit more on that. Chief Gato.
So at current, we're operating with 2 police officers on most shifts. We have 3 police officers on another shift. So which will lead you, if we get a domestic call of any sort, there's 2 officers dispatched. So those shifts that have 2 officers on that shift, that leaves no one to respond to 911 calls if they're already tied up. Now, a domestic call ranges depending on if arrest is made. There's evidence to be collected. It could range anywhere from an hour to 4 hours, especially if there's kids involved, because DFACS has made cuts to their staff, and so they would have to respond. So oftentimes we wind up with an officer sitting on our squad room babysitting, which is not what we're prepared to do, but what we have to do. So I just want everyone to understand the impact that it'll have on the police department if we have to make additional cuts. I'm not willing to stand before mayor and council or the citizens of Jonesboro and say that we're going to operate staff with 1 officer on any shift. I don't want that to happen. I've actually stayed at times myself to ensure that there was more than 1 officer on the shift. And I can only do that so much because I'm only 1 person. I can't be here during the day to answer calls and questions and complaints and things like that and work all night too. Our vehicle fleet is in pretty decent shape. Thanks to mayor and council, we appreciate everything that you all have provided for us throughout the years. And as mayor stated, the grant that we recently was awarded, that will ensure that we relieve some liability stress off of the city, that hopefully will have some cost savings toward our group insurance. Because when we sit down with our insurance company, they ask us things like, how much are you guys invested in to making sure that you're covering yourself from liability? And then body cameras and car cameras is huge for the police department, because those vehicles that we drive around are our offices. If you drive your office around all the time, chances are something's going to happen. You're going to be involved in an accident that may be your fault, it may not. But if we don't have the car cameras and things like that in place, we can't prove that. And just like when we respond to a scene and driver 1 and driver 2 are saying, it was her fault, and she's saying it's his fault, we have to do that with Georgia State Patrol. And so they come to our scene and they say, well, what happened? And we tell them, and the citizen automatically thinks that the trooper's going to believe us. I can stand here on my 2 feet and tell you 100% that trooper doesn't care if we have a uniform on or not. He wants the facts. He doesn't care that you're police. They want the facts. And so the first thing they ask us is, was your camera working? And we have to say yes or no. And so that could lend toward a lawsuit that could potentially cost us millions. And so that's why we ensure that we use those funds towards things that are going to save us on the liability side. When you speak to liability, you can't excuse the fact that If I tell Sergeant Uppel, hey, sorry, you gotta work by yourself today, and he's expecting to have some help, that liability is gonna fall on the city if something happens to him, and we didn't fund those positions. That's just the reality of what we're speaking of. I think everybody can say that everything has went up from eggs to paper to, I mean, if you're buying school supplies, paper and pens and pencils even went up. I had to buy some for some grandkids, and everything has went up. It's definitely not what I recall buying for my 28-year-old. I'm like, hold up now, I didn't recall school supplies costing me $500–600, but that's where we are today. I have a mother-in-law who is a citizen of Jonesboro. She would be affected by the millage rate increase, but she said she did not mind if the increase occurred, so long as she didn't get a decrease in service. And so that's what her expectations are, that if the millage rate increases, she wants the services to stay the same or get better. And so that's what we have to promise our citizens, on the backs of their dollar. We have to promise them better service. So I hope that if anyone has any questions of the police department, you'd be more than willing to come to me and ask that, because I'll be as open and honest as I can be.
Thank you, Chief. And Chief, thank you for your daily service to the city of Jonesboro.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hurd. Mr. Hurd is our Public Works Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, everyone here tonight. I believe that, Mayor, you pretty much touched on everything as far as Public Works is concerned. There is key things in Public Works that we just don't have currently that I think that most of the citizens have expressed to me personally. When I came on board with the city back in 2024, under the previous director, John Burton, one of the tasks I was given was community engagement. There was a big disconnect between the public and Public Works as far as expectations of what we do on a day-to-day basis.
Bless you.
A lot of the things that I've been hearing from citizens over the last year that I've been here was the quality of some of the stuff that Public Works does. A lot of citizens just don't understand that the city currently don't have street sweepers. Like you said, it's time consuming for us with the leaf and limb pickup. Right now, we're operating with only 7 gentlemen. And for example, if you look at Lake Jodico Road, Jonesboro Road, trying to think of a couple more roads off the top of my head.
Fayetteville.
Fayetteville Road, if you look at North McDonough, with those hills, I'm basically utilizing all my staff to weed eat by hand. That's not including the city cemetery that takes us a full week to cut. Without proper equipment, it just makes things longer. A couple weeks ago, we had 7 trees fall in one day. Our police chief, we worked together very closely. I'll be in one area cutting up a tree. He responded to a few more calls. He let me know those locations. When we was done with that, we went to another location. The issue is without the equipment, our guys is cutting up trees, and each stump weighs about 200 pounds that they're picking up by hand, load them onto trailers, take them to another location, unloading, and then put them in a pile where we have to rent a backhoe. That costs $500 a day, roughly $3,000 a week. So that's where we at right now with Public Works. I try to stress enough to the citizens that our department is here to serve the citizens. We just want to do a job, and not only doing the job, but exceeding the expectations. And to do that, we just need vital pieces of equipment. And right now, we just at a standstill.
Thank you, Marcus. So when we talk about a tax increase, this is not so we can travel more. We didn't ask for any luxury vehicles. Matter of fact, I even suggested to council that we forego all of our travel and training budgets for a year. That's how important this information is. And I can't stress to you all, I keep talking about a chipper truck, but it's 7 men, including Marcus, that's behind that chipper truck. I live on Lee Street. My house is one of the highest valued homes, so I will probably get hit the hardest. But I remember sitting on the porch, reading and looking out, and I heard a blower across the street. the same blower that I used to blow my driveway. And Public Works, because someone had complained about the curves not being cleaned out. And I didn't know at the time that the chip or the street sweeper wasn't working. I just simply told Marcus, make sure these streets are clean. And I saw gentlemen out there with families cleaning a curb with a shovel and a broom and a hand blower. That won't happen on my shift, going up a hill. And I called Marcus and was like, hey, let them streets, I'll take the heat. Because when you pull men to do that work, then the work that really needs to be done cannot be done. I don't know if you all know, we own a city cemetery. Go look at it. It's actually a beautiful cemetery. But it takes all 7 men 5 days to cut that cemetery because you have to cut by hand. But then you want a clean street. You want your leaf and limbs picked up. You're not putting them in bags like we requested, and when we did request that all the leaves go in bags, we got pushback on that. We don't want to bag the leaves. We just want to put them out here, at least if you put them in the bags. But now I got guys scooping up leaves. So, Council, I'm going to ask you again. I've presented a budget pursuant to what our charter says. And that's the budget that I'm going to leave it stand, and that is at 11 meal rate. We can make some adjustments to go down to whichever one you feel, but it has to be at your direction. So, Council, I'll ask at this particular time with the budget before you that's presented based on 11 mil, what cuts would you all like to make?
Mayor,
Mayor Pro Tem?
at this time, I would like to ask that we have more time to, I'm sorry. At this time, I would like to ask that we have more time to review the budget as presented. I believe we have another budget meeting scheduled, do we not?
Well, I'll move this over to old business, so we can't. Yes, Mayor Pro Tem. We're gonna give y'all some more time, because y'all had it before today. Okay, any questions or anything, or any direction? Y'all need quotes on anything? Yes.
I'm fine with the needing extra time, but I want us to remember, and I don't know if the residents know this, but we're working with the city now, with the county now, to assist us with our millage rate and taxes and how you all receive them and the time that you all receive them. And so we have to let them know by August 25th. We have to let them know by August 25th. We're already on our second budget meeting, right? The one we had earlier today, this morning, was the second one that we had. Everybody wasn't present at the first one for their own reasons, but we're at our second one. And so I don't want us to continue to push this off and then have to make a knee-jerk decision because we have to have this deadline with the county by August 25th. So I'm in line. If you all need more time, I will respect that. But please, let's keep it in the forefront of our mind that we need to make this decision sooner than later because the 25th is quickly approaching.
And our first hearing is on August 18th, and citizens deserve to know what we're cutting because they can't speak to it. If you all don't come out here and open your mouth and say what you want to cut, then it's not fair to the citizens that might come up and say, oh, no, I don't want to cut police. No, I won't. Or go ahead and cut the police, just don't raise my taxes. So the frustrating part for me is that on August 18th, is that right, Maria? We have our first budget meeting. And do y'all understand what budget hearings are? I'm sorry, budget hearings. That means millage rate hearing. And remember, the millage rate should be driven by the needs of the city. I don't arbitrarily just pick a millage rate because we should have a higher millage rate. I pick a millage rate because they're essential needs of the city. So what I'm asking you all, council, is we've had one budget meeting. Some of you all came and some of you didn't come. This morning we had a millage rate, and I was really proud of how long y'all stuck it out. But you want more time, but then if you wait until the end of next week, then we won't have time to prepare a budget that's suitable for residents to come in. And I want their honest feedback, but I can't give them their honest feedback if I don't have a recommendation. And again, the budget I presented was for 11 mil, which includes 14 positions cut and about $300,000 used for capital improvements. And I'm honest with that, most of that would go toward public works to the essential equipment that they would need. So I think when did y'all get this budget? Not much have changed for y'all. Only thing that changed was some taxes, which y'all can't interfere. So when did y'all get it? Did y'all didn't look over this weekend? Some of y'all did? Okay. The other day? Yeah, so we passed out this budget on July 5th. Huh?
Wasn't that Mayor Pro Tem's birthday, 25th?
Yeah, we passed it out on July 25th so that they could take some time and review it to come back and give us feedback. So council, am I hearing you all say you all have, I heard somebody say 9, but even if you go down to 9, you gotta be willing to come back and say what we're gonna cut to get to 9. So she can create a budget based on 9 meal, is that right, Ms. Karen? But I have to, and I'll advise her to do that, but I don't know what to cut, because y'all have to tell me what to cut. Or y'all want me to guess what to cut? Y'all, do y'all understand that? So, Councilman Dixon, you said you wanted to mill that rate at 9. I can go look at that. What would be your first choice of items to cut to get to the 9 meals so we can have just some direction on the budget that I'm required to prepare and submit to you all?
Here's the thing for me. You gave us this on
Microphone. Okay, just talking to it. Go ahead.
So on July 25th, you gave us your first one. Now, you gave us another one today that you want us to tell you what we need cut from it.
No, that's not correct. The one that I gave you all, I asked for you all to make cuts on that one, and we can, and that be prepared for our meeting that we had this morning. When we had the meeting this morning, you all still did not, did they? Y'all still didn't provide direction. So that's the whole point of us having budget meetings outside of budget hearings and outside of the council meetings. So I gave you that and asked you all, okay, this gives us this, come back. In the meanwhile, we got a new digest over the weekend, so we made some adjustments, but the line items didn't change. So even this morning at 10 o'clock, after having it, the old one, if you just give me some adjustments off of the old one, that would help, but you all didn't have any. You keep saying don't raise the millage rate, but then when I create a budget for the millage rate that we have, you don't give me direction in regard to what you want to cut. I cut some for you. I cut 14 positions.
I gave you several concerning all this insurance.
Okay, but remember we said that on Monday we have our annual review. We cannot cut health. Oh, yes, we can. Okay, let me stop. Let's get that out. We pay 100% of a staff person's premium, not their family. But every staff member, we pay 100% of their health premiums. So am I hearing you say you want to change that and we only pay 50? Because that'll save us some money.
No, ma'am, it was just what I told you today. I asked you for the 2024, how much we spent. You told me 111,000. Now, we had budgeted for 134,000. So that was a $23,000 difference. And that's what I'm asking now. We've got property insurance, you've got the group insurance, and they are all different.
Yes,
We
so
need to know what it cost us in '24, the bottom, because you just changed over and used the same figures again.
correct, because so what happened, remember I explained at the very beginning? I asked staff not to ask for anything additional. So let me explain this to you all. So basically we budgeted, like I say, $134,000 for health benefits, but at the end of the year, we didn't use it all. That's okay, because the maximum amount of health benefits that we factor in our budget is assuming that every position is full. Well, we didn't fill every position, so we had some budgetary savings. That doesn't mean, so this year when we create the new budget, I'll create it based on the current positions that we're gonna fund. So we're defunding positions, so that number is always going to be dynamic based on the positions that we are allowed to fund. If you allow me to fund 10 people, just say 10 people, then it's gonna cost $1,000 to insure them. If you allow me to fund 5, it's only gonna cost $500. That is a ratio based on the number of staff that I'm allowed to fund. So that number, that's why that number is fluid. We saved last year because we didn't have all of our positions full the whole year. I can't do anything about that. That's not bad accounting. That's not bad forecasting. That is very good forecasting. That says if we got 50 people and it costs $10 to insure them, then doggone, I better have 5,000. Now, if that year we only carry 40, then that's a savings. So I tried to address that to you this morning. Group insurance is not where we save or look at adjusting the budget unless you're telling me you don't want to pay 100% of the premium. Because even this year, once I go back in, and that's the difference, those numbers can't be stagnant because it's based on the positions that we're funded. So for example, if y'all say, you know what, fund 2 more chief's police officers. Well, then that number now can't stay the same. It has to go up because those 2 funded police officers have to have health insurance. I tried to explain that earlier. So when I say cuts, I'm talking about line items. We can't cut Georgia Power. We can't cut water. We can't cut insurance premiums. But there's some things that we can cut, and I would hope that you all would look through those. We can't cut gas in vehicle, and I can tell you last year we under allocated for gas because gas has gone up. So now that line item, whereas we might save over here, gas has to go up almost by 30 or 40% based on gas amount. And again, now remember, if we staff the positions that we, in the police department that we're not staffed, then that's more gas. So let's look at those things that can be cut to get down to this 9 because we need direction. I've suggested let's cut all our travel out. Just so you all know, we can't impact public officials, our salary. That has to be through state. So I can't say, let's give all of us a pay cut. I can't give us a raise either. So we're just gonna hold tight. We can cut salary. We can cut more positions. We can cut our travel. We can take the $50,000. We started off with $100,000 for city events. When I got here, the first year I was here, they cut it to half. So we working with 50. We can take that 50 out too and have no events. You all have to own the cuts that you all want to make. Because again, pursuant to the charter, I have to provide for you a budget, and I have, and that budget is requesting 11 mil. Anything different than that is gonna require direction from me. Because what I don't want to happen is that people come speak ill-informed at our 3 budget meetings because as a elected body together, we didn't give them something to dispute or support. All right, so going back to that, do y'all want to consider more staff cuts? You want to take away the 2% raise? You want to cut the health insurance by 50 to 75%? What's some other thing? Y'all want to cut y'all travel? I'm trying to think of all of those expenditures. We already down to uniforms, so I can take we can take some uniforms away. But again, these are all dollars in this whole scope of where we have to get. So I'm just asking you all if we could this evening, so I can go back and give you something in the next couple days that adjust it down to 9. So I'll just put some stuff out here. What about taking away the 2% pay raise for the staff? Y'all want to keep that? Councilman Lester, you want to keep that? All right. You want to keep the 100% premium for the staff? Y'all want to keep that? No comment, so we'll keep that. Y'all want to cut some more positions? We got to do something, y'all. It is. Can y'all help it? Can y'all tell us what you want to cut for this millage rate that y'all want to cut? Because we have something on. I tell you what, we got citizens here. Do you all want to come and hear a public hearing on a budget, on a millage rate that you don't even know what we need? You all want something. And so the mayor gave you something that they said, no, not gonna work. And then when I say, let me get you something that will work, nobody wanna say anything. We all get quiet. This is for the record.
I still want to take it apart.
But you had it to take apart.
No,
You
I didn't. This is
wait,
what
wait,
you gave us today.
hold on.
And I want to take that one apart.
You can take it apart all you want to, but here it says, prepare and submit to the city council. So you dissecting it doesn't matter, because ultimately I have to prepare and submit something to the city council as a recommended operating budget. And so what I'm asking you is to give me the feedback for the budget that I have to create and submit. I can't read your mind.
And
so
I can't read yours either.
No, you don't have to, because I gave you the budget that has everything I'm thinking about.
Okay, that's fine. I'd like to make sure that everything is in here and matches the one that you gave us at the end of the
Okay,
month.
so you tell me when you feel you'll have time to do that, so we can schedule another budget meeting and that you will be prepared, because I thought we always gonna be prepared for this morning's budget meeting. We left at the same place this budget meeting as we did July 25th. So you tell me when you gonna be ready for the prepared budget I've given you.
I'm good for next week.
So at the next council meeting, at 6 o'clock, you're gonna be prepared to say your budget cuts to get us down to 9 mil.
I will.
All right. Councilman, Mayor Pro Tem, are you gonna need more time than that, or will you be able to provide your budget cuts? Actually, what'd be helpful, here's the thing, y'all. They can give them to me on the 11th, but then I don't have time to adjust the budget. So can y'all give them to me on Thursday so I can adjust the budget and then come back with some numbers? If not, it's like a constant cycle. We can't just sit up here and, AI doesn't do that. We tried it, but it don't do it well. So can we agree that on Thursday, you all would have all of your recommended budget cuts? Y'all want to schedule, or you'll be out of town?
Yeah.
I'm good for Thursday.
With the budget, so I'm not making budget cuts, because I already said how I felt about it. Now, I'll go with what council wants, but I don't need to go back and look at the budget. And can I ask a question to Ms. Green?
Yeah.
The budget that we have, that we received today, the only difference from the budget we received July 25th is the salary cuts and the healthcare offsets from said salary cuts. Other than that, the majority of the paperwork is the exact same from what we received July 25th?
Yes, it is, except for the contingency was increased in the one that you received this morning.
But the majority of the line items are all the same from July 25th meeting.
Correct.
So no, I don't need any time to cut through. Thank you.
Councilman Lester, how much time do you need?
I'll go with Thursday.
Can you come for a special meeting?
Thursday.
Can we? Okay. You can call in? Okay. Are you all okay? Let's take, I'll entertain a motion for a special budget call meeting on Thursday at 6 o'clock.
Second.
Any discussion? During the discussion, Mayor Pro Tem, will you be able to attend the meeting at 6 o'clock on Thursday?
Yes.
Councilwoman Miller will zoom in. Councilman Lester, will you be present?
Yeah.
Councilman Alfred, will you be present? So we'll have a quorum if you would post that information for us tomorrow. I appreciate that. I hate to bring staff if you all can plan to be present on that particular evening. So on that particular time, they will bring all recommended budget cuts. Then we'll build a budget and we'll have all the budget cuts on the record. All right, thank you all so much for this discussion. Next on the agenda, please.
All right, new business. Letter A, council to discuss conditional use permit application number 25 CUP 006 submitted by Danny Orr. The request is for a community assembly hall, retail space, and an apothecary that will also serve coffee and light fare. The property is located at 154 South Main Street, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236, parcel 13241D E001. Staff is recommending approval with conditions.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, and citizens of the City of Jonesboro. The item before you is for a request for a conditional use permit to operate a community assembly hall, retail space, and an apothecary that will serve coffee and light fare within the H2 Historic District. An apothecary is a business that sells herbal remedies and natural wellness products, often based on traditional or holistic practices. The subject property is located on approximately 1.49 plus or minus acres within the downtown area as identified in the 2021 Comprehensive Plan. Surrounding land uses include a mix of residential and commercial properties located within the historic district. The applicant's site plan dated June 17, 2025 indicates adequate parking is provided to support the proposed use. However, the plan does not include the required 50-foot buffer between the developed land area and adjacent residential property to the west. After evaluating the applicant's request, staff recommends approval with the following condition listed in your packets. And I'll be happy to take any questions at this time.
Any questions, council? This requires a hearing. We'll have a hearing on next week. All right, thank you so much. Next on the agenda.
Letter B, under new business, council to discuss conditional use permit application 25 CUP 007 submitted by Tsunami Volleyball, Inc. The request is to operate a nonprofit volleyball recreation facility engaging primarily in youth instructions, league play, and tournaments. The property is located at 7776 Jonesboro Road, Suite 100, Jonesboro, Georgia 30236. Parcel number is 49C D002. Staff is recommending approval with conditions.
Good evening again, Mayor, Council, and citizens of the City of Jonesboro. The item before you is for a request for a conditional use permit to operate a nonprofit indoor volleyball recreation facility within the M1 Light Industrial Zone District. The subject property is located on approximately line .09 plus or minus acres and is located within the Gateway North area as identified in the 2021 Comprehensive Plan. The proposed use will primarily consist of youth instruction, league play, and occasional tournaments. No exterior modifications to the existing one-story building are proposed at this time. All improvements will be limited to interior renovations in compliance with applicable building and life safety codes. Surrounding land uses include a mix of residential and industrial, as well as county properties. On November 21st, 2024, the applicant received a formal denial letter due to improper zoning. Despite this, the applicant did continue to operate without an active business license. Per zoning requirements, indoor recreational facilities must provide one parking space per 150 square feet of recreational floor area. Based on the applicant's site plan and letter of intent, the existing parking spaces do not meet this requirement. After evaluating the applicant's request, staff does recommend approval with the following condition, and it is one additional one that I will read for the record. The second condition reads, the number of tournaments held at the facility shall be limited to no more than 5 tournaments per calendar year. And this concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Ms. Palmer, when you say 5 tournaments, is that 5 days or just 5 3-day tournaments? Like, is there a cumulative number of days?
I'll have to defer to the applicant for that one, as far as how long their tournaments last.
I mean, what would be your recommendation?
I would say no more than a weekend, so 2 days.
So I'm not sure, so do we need to quantify that, no more than 5 tournaments to last? No, because what's gonna happen is, like, if, for example, if there's a question saying when they did too many tournaments, then chief will go up there, or code enforcement will go over there, and so I need to know if it's in days or if it's quantified as actual tournaments, because a tournament could last a whole week or something, I'm not sure. We'll ask for clarification on that next week when we have the hearing.
Okay.
Council, do you have any questions I can entertain at this point? Councilwoman Miller?
I just wanted to know how we settled on 5 tournaments, like what was, so that I can just better understand.
So in the applicant's letter of intent, they did state that
I think I saw that.
They stated when Tsunami has tournaments roughly 4 to 5 days per year, they employ and valet a company to ensure that participants, well, that goes into their valet service. But they mentioned that roughly 4 to 5 days per year with the tournament.
So could the condition be 4 to 5 days then, rather than 4 to 5 tournaments? Okay.
Yes.
Is that what you had?
Well, they wanted to do more tournaments.
That's my same question.
They can't do more tournaments, and that's just because they put that in their application. It's not something we said you can't do more tournaments.
Right.
They proposed that.
Right, they indicated that in their letter of intent.
But if that condition, okay, I'm gonna come back to that. So there are 3 other buildings, 1, 2, 3, 4 other buildings. Typically, there are tournaments on the weekend, and then there's no traffic or parking obstructions on the other buildings. And I'm assuming they've spoken with those. Is that how they've been using? Chief, you've been up there when they've had an active tournament, haven't you? Where do they park, all the way through?
All the way through.
So,
In between the buildings, the front parking lot, and down the sides.
all right, so.
Some of that would need to be adjusted, but that would be just them putting staff out there to control that parking.
So if we were to include the parking lot of the entire parcel, would that satisfy the parking requirements? Or did your measurement of the parking requirement just the parking, hold on one second, just the parking around that particular initial building?
So Suite 100 is situated on a separate parcel than the other building. So
Okay.
they're 2 separate parcels.
Okay. But I think they've had an agreement with the other parcels, like, like many of our businesses do. So what I'm asking is, if we were to include some parking from the adjacent parcels, would that give them enough to satisfy code requirements?
Yes.
Okay. I just like to,
Yeah, I just had a.
yeah.
This is just a question in regards to the cap. Do we need to include that in the condition
The cap for the
for
number
the
of
tournaments? Correct.
No, we don't have to. That's what I was asking. If
Well,
that's
yeah, it's
necessary.
optional if it's the pleasure of the council
Got you.
to go with the, staff recommendation.
Got you.
Is property taxes still paid on this property because they're rental?
They are nonprofit.
But because they don't own the building, does the building owner still have to pay property taxes? They do? Okay, they just don't have to pay business taxes because they're a nonprofit. Okay, thank you. But the other businesses are up and running on different parcels. That's what my question was. Okay. So recommendations for approval. Council, I would ask that we not consider a cap on, I think the consideration for a cap on that is just, what was it? I'm thinking. So I think more so I would require, based on tournaments, that we put in a condition that would require some type of traffic control on our street. So if you are to have a tournament, because that's the problem, I see a lot of traffic, you know, that the condition would include the hiring of a police officer for the length of time that there's a tournament there. So if y'all had the tournament every weekend, that's fine, as long as you hired and you could work with the county and the city. Would that be something, Chief, that you think might help us with the concern?
We definitely need to have some type of plan in place for public safety. When you have that many people gather in one location, not saying it would be one of their patrons, but someone could come to wish ill intent on that whole plaza. And that's a lot of people to be affected at one time for there to be no law enforcement or fire EMS personnel present.
And that goes in line with what we usually require for X amount of participation, X amount of participants that we have at our parks and things like that. So I think that might be a more suitable condition rather than a cap on another tournament. Okay. That, and we can talk about that a little bit more and get back with you all what we consider reasonable once I talk to the police chief. But then there wouldn't be a cap on the number of events because sometimes their tryouts might have just as many people as well. But our concern is more sort of safety. So what can we implement to provide that safety? And it may be an officer, off-duty officer, or someone paid, and Chief will work closely with you so that we can use a number of entities for that. Okay. Give us a chance to visit that and get back with you all. Over here to the left, did y'all have a question?
No, actually you answered, I had a question, but you guys already answered it. Just concerning the parking and the safety. Whether there being a lot of, especially these are youth tournaments?
Yes.
Yeah, so we definitely need some plan in place for safety, not just for, like you were speaking of internally, but with that many vehicles moving in that area, I think we definitely need a presence.
Yeah, and I don't know if y'all have lighting there or not. Do y'all have lighting in the parking lot? It is like, I've never been over there at nighttime, so. All right, so it's still recommendation for approval. Just give us a chance to get with our police chief to come up with a suitable, reasonable plan and get with you all this week, and that recommendation will be in for next week for the hearing. Do y'all have any other questions or anything y'all wanted to add? Tsunami. Did y'all have any questions or anything? Okay. It was like, all right, so we'll.
Just, you know, we'll communicate this week. We didn't know about the cap on the number of tournaments, and it's just, as long as we communicate, that would be great.
Okay, so I'm recommending that we remove the cap, but in place, put in some type of public safety measures for that. We'll get with y'all. Thank you so much. Next on the agenda.
Next item, letter C, council to consider approval of the proposed revisions made to Jonesboro Youth City Government Charter, Article 2, Section 33-2, to ensure consistency throughout the document.
Mayor.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council, community. This item just addresses the Jonesboro Youth City Government Charter. The current charter, it speaks to Jonesboro Youth City Council, so just trying to provide just a little bit more consistency, make sure we reference it as the Jonesboro Youth City Government throughout the charter. A couple of different changes were made as well in regards to quorums, qualifications for the members. But yeah, if there are any questions, I'm happy to answer them now. Just wanted to also say thank you, Mayor and Council, for pouring into the youth on our third year for the JYCG.
Council, do you all want this to move to consent agenda? I reviewed it. Do y'all mind if I just look over this a little bit longer, because I did have a question, and then I'm sure it'll pass. Are y'all okay with not putting on the consent agenda? Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda, please.
Next item, letter E, council to consider approval of a request for proposal for the redevelopment of Key Street Park.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is, I would like for us to approve RFP process for Key Street Park for its redevelopment. Key Street Park is located over, right behind Keys, Jonesboro Crossing, or the old Keystone Apartments.
Who gonna pay for this park?
That's a good question. Right here, that's a good question. Right here, funding options may include public-private partnerships, grants, and if we have to get their city budget allocation.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with putting a request for proposal, but I don't wanna put a request for proposal and we don't have a request for, we were trying to get a request for funding right now.
No, I understand
So,
that. I understand
okay.
that.
Well, I keep that. Do you mind us kind of just tabling that and coming back?
No, I'm with it. I'm just trying to put it out in the atmosphere.
All right, it's in the atmosphere. Are you, is that okay? I mean, if we put an RFP, then we gotta be able to pay the people to fix the park. And
No,
and I would just ask, I think we should redevelop Key Street Park, but we just told you, we got two other parks that's falling apart. So I'm not gonna put nothing new, and we don't have capital money to improve the new one.
I totally understand.
All right, thank you so much for that. Item number, next on the agenda.
Mayor, can you provide clarity on letter C? Is that a consent item?
No, we said we weren't gonna put that on consent, so just
Okay.
move that to old business for a vote.
Business?
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead, Councilman Miller.
About the Key Street Park, if you were to look for public or private partnerships, and how will you tell them how much it'll cost if we don't have something that says how much it'll cost to fix it, even if we try not to do city budget allocations? Because there was one, it was like an AAU, no, it was some sports, something that came and
Yes,
spoke
excuse me,
and
yes.
said that they use that park. So if there are, because it's beneficial to them, so if they're willing to put up this money, how do we know how much it'll cost?
So I guess I need to know the information for, you just don't say, come fix our park. So when we give a request for proposal, we need to have an outline of what we're asking them so that every person submits to do the same one. If not, you're asking for a request for, it's another thing if you're just asking for a request for ideas. What's that word? Okay. Request for proposal mean that we're saying we want 3 swings, a football field, a soccer field with turf, and then people come back and they provide the amount on that set fix, and then we can compare proposal A, B, and C. So right now, we have to come together and decide what is our vision for there. If not, it's just a request for ideas. But again, council, I am not opposed to revitalizing Key Street, but I would not support a request for proposal because I can tell you what we need at Massengale and at Battle Creek. So if we were to get any funding or any grant opportunity come through, that we maintain the parks that we already have. That's just my thought.
No, I hear
But
that.
again, once we get this budget going and we see where we are, we might have some funding for that. And I can tell you though that when you put out an RFP, a lot of people want to know that we already have funding before they waste their time to submit an RFP. All right, any other comments on item E? Next on the agenda.
Item F, council to consider approval of the proposed expansion for the Arts and Entertainment District.
And council, this is just to, like you said, expand the Arts and Entertainment District. Want to permit the gas station, as well as include the parcels facing Main Street from Spring Street and Main Street to North Avenue, to include the community garden and the Exxon gas station right there on the corner.
All right, so have you ran this by our community development person, our downtown development person, as well as our economic development manager? So whenever we're expanding overlays, difference in district, there's a process that we have to go through. So if you would meet with Mr. Simpson as well as Ms. Akuta, she will help you with that. So we can't approve this until.
Well, no, I'm just presenting it today, so I would love to get with you.
So we
all
said
this week.
council to consider approval. So are you
Understood,
asking
work
are you asking for a vote right now? Or are you asking
No,
for
it's
direction?
the work session. Yeah, so I mean.
Okay, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask one
I
more.
know when the Arts and Entertainment District was created, we didn't have the Grove subdivision, and we didn't have the senior living development that was that's right on Main Street. So as we try to boost the downtown and the Arts and Entertainment District and bring more community pride in the area, definitely wanted to include those.
Okay. At this time, I entertain a motion for us to go into executive session. No? Yes.
Do we need to just?
I entertain a motion for us to go into executive session
So
for the
made.
purposes of litigation and personnel matters.
So made.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We're now in executive session.
Straight to executive session.
To adjourn. Oh, I entertain a motion to go back into regular session.
Second. I make a motion, we go back in regular session.
All in favor?
Second.
Any opposition? Please make a note of who all came out. At this time, I entertain, Billy, Councilman Powell, would you like to make a motion to adjourn? He's not here in his absence.
Motion to adjourn.
Any discussion? All in favor? We are now adjourned. That was not that bad, y'all. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Let the record reflect I was here at 6 o'clock this morning.
Let it reflect that I was here at 6:45 at Lee Street Elementary,